So, hey there, everybody. It is your instructor, Tim, and I want to welcome you to the podcast series for EDAD 5700 Leadership 1. Now, as you know, about two-thirds of the points for the course revolve around your crafting a statement of leadership philosophy. 100 points are tied to answering three questions. What is leadership? What informs my leadership? And how do I do leadership? The last 100 points are tied to a final comprehensive version of this statement. The purpose of this particular podcasting series is to help you acquire as many of these points as possible by providing you with tips on developing a solid set of writings that are going to serve as your philosophical statement. Now, today's podcast is going to focus on the first three elements of your philosophical statement, and that first element is defining leadership. Now, you know the basics of how the paper should be formatted. 4 to 5 pages, double-spaced, 12-point font. If you look at the course syllabus, you're going to see that I've provided 3 overarching questions that will help you frame this element of your paper. So, first of all, in your opinion, what purpose or purposes does leadership serve? Why do you feel this way, and what informs your opinion? What do effective leaders do, and what makes leaders effective? And finally, do you identify yourself as a leader? Why or why not? And if so, how did you come to identify yourself as such? Now, as you answer these questions, you're going to want to refer to the readings that we've explored so far as reference points that you can gravitate toward or away from. This means that you'll probably want to look at Delos Parks because she provides a lot of insight on the needs that leadership satisfies. And her text also sheds light on the differences between concepts such as power and authority. Comavez and her colleagues provide insight on how students come to adopt a leadership identity. Linda and Rodriguez, they take a look at how multiple aspects of our identity, whether that be gender, race, sexual orientation, inform our insights on who is a leader, what leadership is, and what leadership does. The Salisbury article informs us of the impact that out-of-class activities can have on leadership development. And don't forget about the insights that we've gained from the photo essay assignment and from the social change model of leadership. All of these can be used as resources that you refer to as you answer the overarching questions for this element of your philosophy paper. Now, in addition to the readings, you might also want to refer to any notes that you took during our class conversations. Now that you understand where some of the information for your paper should be coming from, let's talk a bit about the elements of a sound professional philosophy paper. In a nutshell, your paper should be concise, clear, and sincere. When I say concise, I mean that language is used efficiently, that it's not too wordy, and that there isn't too much jargon. When I say that it's clear, I mean that the arguments you present should be logical and coherent. One concept should flow very smoothly into the other. And when I say that the paper is sincere, I mean this. Don't tell me what you think I want to hear. I want you to tell me what you believe and why you believe it. Back your arguments with the concept that we've explored in class and with the readings. And as you cite these readings as reference points that you gravitate toward or away from, be sure to tell me why you're doing so. Now let's talk about the little things that you can do to make this paper successful. First and foremost, turn the paper in on time. Remember that this paper is due on Wednesday the 27th at 11 p.m. Anything turned in after this time is going to be considered late, and you'll lose 2 points for each day the paper is late. Turn the paper in electronically. Ideally, you're going to email it to me first and then turn it into the Dropbox that should be activated on the course Canvas site. Please don't give me a PDF version of the paper. Remember, turn in the Word document for me because it's easier for me, at least, to go ahead and make comments on your paper that way. Next, proofread the paper. Remember that proofreading involves more than activating spell check. Proofreading requires you to read the paper and correct errors such as misused words, misspelled words, and punctuation mistakes. I'd like it if you'd use the APA format for citing your references in your paper as well. Now, even though it can be nerve-wracking, I strongly encourage you to let your peers proofread your papers also. You'll be amazed at what a different set of eyes will discover in your writing, and the process will put you in position to turn in a really strong paper. Thirdly, don't be afraid to take risks with your paper. I'm giving you permission to be creative with the format. You can set it up as a series of letters back and forth, you can write it as a play or a mock transcript for an interview, or you just might decide to write a traditional, straightforward statement of philosophy. It is up to you, but either way, you have my permission to think outside of the box if you desire. So in conclusion, we've talked about the first installment of your professional philosophy paper. professional leadership philosophy paper, I should say. We've covered the sources of information that you should be using, explored the elements of a sound philosophy paper, and articulated the 3 things that you can do to develop a good paper. I hope this podcast is helpful, and I look forward to reading your papers.